If you've given IELTS multiple times and you're still stuck on 5 bands, don't worry, you're not alone. Just recently, a student actually reached out to me. They've given the IELTS exam 3 times and they're stuck on 5 band. Now they're asking me, what should I do now? Well, here's the thing. The issue is that, they are not able to understand English as well, and there's an issue with comprehension. Okay? And for a lot of students, what they try to do is they try to translate English or the text that they're reading into the native tongue or whatever language they speak. Now that is a bad idea, and this is what this whole video is about, like why that's a bad idea. So here's what happens. When you read something in English, you learn something in English, you need to learn it in English itself. If you're learning English and you want to translate that into Punjabi or Hindi or Bhasa Malayu or Indonesian or Japanese or whatever, really, it's not going to help you much. What you're learning in English, you need to learn those English words to learn what the meaning is. Because here's what happens. First of all, if you start translating things, your fluency is going to suffer a lot. Every time you try to say something, you'll try to translate that in your mind in what that might be in your language and then try to deliver that in English. That's a no-no. You'll be wasting a lot of time there. Don't do that. Number 2, every different language, they have a different kind of structure. Okay? The grammatical structure, the way sentences are put together, it's very different. So it's essential when you're learning English, learn the meanings of the words in English itself. What really helps is looking at pictures and putting the words together. And that's remember how in kindergarten they would show us a photo of apple and say it's an apple? That's a very good technique. Use that. When you're learning vocabulary, you're learning new words. Try to see try to picture it. Try to find a picture for it. That really helps to learn new words, okay? So when you try to translate English into, say, Punjabi for this person, the issue is the way English is structured, the way the sentences are put together, it's very different from Punjabi, okay? So when you start translating things, it's not going to help you. Do not do that. Number 3, there's very limited vocabulary in different languages. So what you can say in Punjabi or in Hindi or in different language, finding the exact vocabulary in English is going to be very difficult. Translating that gets really tough, and the context behind words and how to use those words, it's lost in translation. Here's an example. A student of mine, basically, the only meaning for the word like that she knew was someone liking someone. She did not understand that the word like could also mean, for example, or the word like could also mean just like that. So you see how like has so many different meanings, but she only knew one. And that's the thing, right? With vocabulary, you need to know in what context the word is being used in that specific language. So keep that in mind. Number 4, misinterpretation. And this happens a lot. This is why I tell people, if you want to learn English in English. Because when we start translating things and when we start moving things around, we misinterpret. What something might mean in Punjabi is not the same what it might mean in English. And if the meaning of a word in Japanese or whatever other different language might be, it might not be the same in English. So you will end up misinterpreting. Don't do that. That's another big mistake. Finally, cultural differences. English, the way it's used in the US, in Canada, or even in England, it's very cultural. It revolves around the culture. And what language you might be speaking in your country, it revolves around the culture of your country. So when we try to translate that, it doesn't really translate well. So learn English in English itself. That's something you might want to keep in mind. And when you're trying to speak, don't try to translate things in your mother tongue. Just learn in English, man. That's how you want to train your mind. If you find a big word in English and you don't know what the meaning is, go to Google, search what the word might mean, and learn little easy words of what the meaning is. That way you understand what the word is and you build your vocabulary. That is what it is. See, this is how you learn a different language. Start with the alphabets, then start learning the words, and then start learning grammar on how to put those words together to build sentences and put those sentences into paragraphs. It's easy as that. Give it some time and you'll be just fine. Well, if you have any questions or if you have any concerns around this, drop them in the comment section. And of course, I'm happy to help and answer those. And of course, if you have any friends who are struggling with this, they might be trying to translate or they might be thinking that translation might help, share it with them. It will not help. And hopefully this helps them, kind of like get over that thinking. And hey, you know what? Subscribe. We'll be putting out more information like this that you might find helpful. And yeah, good luck with your exam. I'll see you in the next video.